fanciers, and welcome back to our channel. Romer here, your host, and we are here in Canyon Lake, Texas with Mr. Craig Nidever of Palomar Loft. Palomar Loft, which is, it means...
Palomar in Spanish means pigeon loft.
Pigeon Loft, here in Canyon Lake, Texas. And we are going to talk about his racing pigeon hobby, how did he start, and how he keep his birds healthy. And one of the most interesting thing that we would like to discuss with him is about the Jimal Janssens birds that he maintained for more than 40 years. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Craig, for allowing me to be here in your wonderful backyard, your loft. And
my pleasure, Romer.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. So let me ask the question. How did you start with this type of hobby, raising pigeons? How and when did you start?
Started it, I would say, probably with my older brother. We both just liked pigeons.
Okay.
And we got our first pigeons when I was in 3rd grade in Laredo, Texas. And that would be...
Laredo, Texas.
About 1960.
The border of Mexico and Texas.
We were living down there at the time.
Okay.
And anyway, that's where we started. And then we found a lady in town that would catch what we call commons.
Okay.
You know, with string on a stick. Okay. And a box. Okay. And she'd catch them and she'd sell them to her for 25 cents each.
Really?
So that's how, you know, $1 at a time you could get 4 pigeons.
Wow.
And
do you call that the barns pigeon also, like that?
Those are barn pigeons.
Barn pigeon.
Barns are common pigeons. I got into my first race birds in 1978 when my brother, who I was just referred to, needed somebody to take care of his pigeons for a while. Okay. And he said, you know how to do that. You can just make a little cage in the back and keep them. And
this was still in Laredo,
No,
right?
this was up in Kerrville.
Kerrville. So from Laredo, you moved to Kerrville?
No. There was a whole lot of moves between Laredo and Kerrville, okay?
Okay, let's just fast forward from Laredo and then Kerrville. You became a club member.
I became a club member of what was the HOHC, Heart of the Hills Club. Okay. In Kerrville. Had probably 18 to 20 active members. Okay. And I mean, by today's standard, by all means, very active club. Yeah. And that was in 1978 when I first started racing up there. I got my brother's pigeons, which is what I started with, and he never got them back. Okay. He never got back into birds again. Okay. So,
but when you were there with your brother, you were racing pigeons with your brother.
No, I got the pigeons, not him.
Not him.
He was going through a time in his life when he needed to get rid of the birds. Okay. So he says, well, you know, why don't you just take care of them for me? So I did, and anyway.
So, but in Laredo, when you were in Laredo with your brother, those are just pet pigeons. You never did compete.
No, they weren't race birds at all. Okay. They were bridge pigeons, common pigeons. You know, and that's.
But did you make them fly in loft fly, something like that?
We just had a big loft, a big cage. Okay. Kept them in.
But that's when it started to acquire the pigeon bug.
That's when the pigeon bug kicked in. So, and then I was out of it, like I say, for that would have been 18 years. Okay. And then I got birds again. And then in 1983, I had an opportunity, went up to my first Texas Center convention in Wichita Falls. And that's when I had an opportunity. I met Maurice Jemal. Okay. And
the legendary Maurice Jimal of Uruapan.
Yep. And then that summer, he invited me down. I went down with 2 other guys to visit his place down in Uruapan. Nice. And that's where it started. That was August of '83. I got my first birds from him. That were 83 banded pigeons. Later on, and that was the start. And no looking back.
I believe, based on the history that I read, you know, because it's in the article anyway, you can find it online. Mr. Maurice Jimal is one of the top fanciers in his time, and you know, even now, like, you know, but because of his age, he needs to retire. And then he met the best pigeon grader, which is Pete DeWeerd.
Through Pete DeWeerd is where he got his start. His 6 original birds. Okay. That were the base of the Jimal Janssens. Yes. And then he dominated the competition in Mexico City. I think it was probably only maybe 2 years, and then they decided they needed a new club, and he wasn't invited to be in the new club because he was just outside of the boundaries. You know, well, the boundaries were drawn for that purpose, and so then after that he moved to Uruapan, closed the breeding pool. And created the Jimal Janssens.
So when he was in Mexico City, that was the time when he was competing in the club.
Yes.
And he was banned because it's so competitive. It's, you know, they can't.
He was competing in combine competition in 2 different clubs.
Okay.
I can show you the race results. I've actually got them. I'll be glad to show them to you.
Okay.
And anyway, he's competing in 2 different clubs in the combine and dominating in both clubs and in the combine. You know, it's just
a politics that no, you can't compete anymore with us. So he moved to Uruapan where he continued doing breeding, correct?
Breeding only.
Breeding only.
And of course, after that time, over the following years, Pete DeWeerd came on 3 different occasions and graded out the family.
Okay.
And every time he graded them, they were just better and better. He couldn't believe what he was putting his hands on. It was just phenomenal.
So after he acquired the birds from Pete DeWeerd, a couple of years, they met again in Uruapan, right?
No, it wasn't. Actually, it wasn't. I'm not sure what the dates were. I've got that information on the documents.
Okay.
Pete left a document each time, a testimonial to the fact of what he was looking at and what, you know,
the quality of the birds,
quality and what he thought of them.
Yeah.
And the thing is about Pete, I mean, he wasn't someone that was, you know, looking to say something good about you or your pigeons, so you would say something good about him.
Correct.
He was already established as a master selector. And
he's straightforward. If that doesn't meet the cut, it doesn't meet the cut.
You know, and so it was, it was quite an opportunity.
Nice.
And I need to show you that. I need to show you that video too, because I've got that on video. That would be a real treat for you. So
now, when you, let's go back when you started the pigeon racing and everything. Do you remember the strain that you had before you kept the line of Jemal Janssen?
You know, is the old strains of the time. You know, crosses of this and that, but predominant strains were Sions and Bastines.
Old bloodlines.
And Stasserts.
Okay.
Those were the 3 old bloodlines at the time. They were pluggers more than anything. I mean, they were pigeons you almost couldn't lose. And the thing is, once the Janssens were introduced, they you know, I don't know that the Janssens fly so much faster than other pigeons. I think they just orient a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So they end up going maybe on a straighter line, but leaving the release point faster. Anyway, it all results in faster speeds and the older strains just ceasing to exist. You know, because we continue to work with and race with the birds that work. You know, so anyway.
You know, as I mentioned when we were talking before, like off the video, I mentioned to Craig, like, you know, my bird was in the, you know, I started this hobby when I was in the Philippines. And most kids or most fanciers in the Philippines before was so into the old bloodlines, which is especially Janssen, right? Like that's why when Mr. Craig Nidever was introduced to me by Richard Aquino, I was so excited because, you know, he was holding the Jimal Janssen, the purest as it could get, right, for more than 40 years. And I mentioned to Mr. Craig Nidever, I am in, you know, nowadays there are lots of strains, different strains. For example, somebody just kept this, you know, bird and they named it after them, which is, you know, it's up to them. It's rightful, you know, that's the beauty about pigeon racing. You can do whatever you want as long as, you know, what pleases you or whatnot. But the thing is that, for me, back to basic, you know, these pigeons, for example, the cannibals, the whatever, Mona Lisa or whatnot, if you trace their old ancestors, What's
the lineage?
The lineage.
What you're saying.
What is the at the bottom?
They almost all go back to Janssen.
Almost all go back to Janssen, to Scion, or
if they don't go back to the Janssen definitely is an impact pigeon in the line.
Correct.
There's very few of them that aren't. An example of probably a strain that doesn't have Janssen in it is probably Jan Arden. Okay, a Jan Arden though was very much a distance pigeon, and we're talking distance. We're talking 800 plus miles.
What is the special about the Jimal Janssen?
The main plus for the Jimal Janssens is the inbreeding.
Inbreeding.
Now, anybody can inbreed.
Okay.
Okay, but the selection that went into the inbreeding is at a level that is on par to no place else.
Correct.
Period. Maurice bred around 300 pigeons a year. Okay, he kept, and it wasn't that I said this to one person once, and it's like, oh, where there were so many culls. No, there weren't so many culls. It's just that you're looking for the one pigeon that is a little higher in quality, just a step up. And that's then the one he would key on. He would look for the next one and to the step up. An old pigeon in his loft was a 3-year-old.
Wow.
There were a lot of cases where a youngster was bred one year and he had children that very same year. He was producing out of the cockbirds at 3 months of age. And it's just a special bird. What was neat with Pete DeWeird when he came in, Maurice had already selected the cockbird that was going to be the foundation cock for the next family. I'm thinking it was the E family. That would be correct. And it was just, it was like 30, 35 days old at the time. And Maurice, not Maurice, Pete, when he saw it, concurred. That's the one he selected.
Yeah.
So, having been there, I saw that Maurice was really anxious, not knowing whether or not he was going to get the blessing from the master or the thumbs down.
The grading. Yeah.
And Pete was he was blown away. He at one point stopped and he said, Mauricio, come here. And he stopped what he was doing, walked across the roof, to where Pete was, and he says, I salute you. And it's like, wow, and
for keeping that blood.
Well, he couldn't believe the level.
Yeah.
The level of the quality of the level of birds. It was just,
So you acquired how many birds again from
originally in
Maurice?
1983, I acquired 3, 1 cock and 2 hens.
Okay.
It was late 80s. My partner, James Bodiford, and I, we got 3 more birds.
Okay.
And those were G family.
Okay.
The 3 birds I got in '83 were what's called the C family, down from Doña, who was a foundation hen at that time. The birds that we got late '80s were the G family, and that was down from a cock he called Grand Slam.
Okay.
And we got 1 cock and 2 hens. Children off of those, because you have more of an opportunity to breed more off of the youngsters. Went on. One of them was a mother to a cock I called Vindicator.
Okay.
Vindicator was a first Texas Center Hall of Fame, 2 different years. A 3rd AU Hall of Fame.
Okay.
An all distance and long distance digest first place award winner.
Okay.
And the neat thing about him, his nestmate sister was also an association race winner at 400 miles in Houston.
Okay.
He won a 5. She ended up winning a 4 also. That's nestmate sister. Nestmate brother sister. So that was pretty cool. But it just an example. They work. They continue to work. Part of what I'm wanting to do now and am doing in a limited sense is to get more and more of them out so that people can try them and use them.
Yeah.
If they work for me,
it should.
they're going to work for other people.
Correct,
I'm not.
correct.
I'm no superstar.
Correct.
You know. So, but you know, they're my training, if you will, that I got from Maurice, entailed 13 trips to his place down in Uruapa to look at the pigeons, to handle them, to talk to him, to, you know, on a one-on-one.
Yeah.
And to be able to watch the evolution of the families. That was really a cool part, because I can look back and I would ask him at some point, well, what about this or what about that? And he'd go, well, which one do you think is more important? Well, I give him my opinion. I was either right or I wasn't. And then next time when I'd look at birds, they were better in those areas. You know, they're ripe for an outcross because of the inbreeding. And like I've said before, anybody can inbreed, but when you take pigeons and are able to maintain the quality of the birds without losing health, without losing egg production, without losing fertility, and they just keep right on going, they're at a point now, the family's at a point now, we're at about 30 generations of inbreeding. This means nothing else has been crossed in, and we're about 30 generations.
Because it's been 40 years you kept the bloodline, right? And you know, with full integrity, you can say that you still have and handle the purest it could be of the Jimal Janssen that you acquired more than 40 years ago from Maurice, right?
These are the Jamals. This is what they are. This is the only colony of them left. You know, there's still a number of them in Mexico that are bred down off of original birds from Maurice from years ago. And they're still getting results. That's the neat part about it. But I'm the only person that I know of that acquired his stock directly from Maurice. And then the other beauty of it is I've been able to maintain Maurice's hand of selection within this group of birds. You know, and we went through them, you know, just about a month ago. You know, when he was here. He's now gone back down to Mexico. And unfortunately, I doubt we'll have an opportunity to visit anymore, except maybe on the phone.
So, I mean, other people who's maybe could be watching this video may say also that, well, I also acquired birds from Maurice. So here's the thing. We don't disagree for their statement or whatnot, but the mere fact that I met Mr. Maurice Jimal myself, and he graded the birds that Craig maintained, you know, for more than 40 years, that gave me the confidence that Craig Nidever is holding the purest that it could be of the Jimal Janssen.
I mean, they're pure because nothing else is. I mean, these two pigeons we're holding are both crosses.
Okay. Jimal cross.
This guy right here is a half breed.
Okay.
Turned in a really phenomenal race at, I believe it was 300 miles. We lost the race. We were second and third. By, I can think in a minute, maybe a minute and a half, I'm not sure. But anyway, we lost it. The point is, we were second and third. We only sent 2 pigeons, and he's one of the 2.
Okay. How many miles again?
That was a 300.
300 miles.
Young bird. This right here is a quarter bred. His mama was a half breed. Okay. And he's been a survivor. He's still on the race team, and both of these guys will be flown here starting next week. So.
I like the body of this
off
one.
The race team. He's got his body's going to feel a little bit nicer.
I like that.
They're you know, they're both quality animals.
But the thing is, this is light. That's the thing I like it with it. It's buoyant. Well, you know, it's very important.
They have to be.
I know. But there are birds who are not buoyant. That's why I mentioned that this is really good. So, going back in regards with the Jimal Janssen, you crossbreed. Do you fly the inbred direct? Like the pure?
No.
No, okay.
I do not fly them at all. They're valuable in the breeding loft. Most people buy a lot of pigeons and try them in the breeding loft and seldom get good results.
Okay.
These guys right here, I breed out them and I get results.
So we are not against, with other people flying the pure, I mean not the pure, but the inbred, but I heard it's not really advisable, the inbred being flown, but instead you use the inbred as a breeder. So what can you say about that?
The value of the inbred is the hybrid vigor that is produced when you cross them.
Okay.
Okay. Hybrid vigor crosses when races.
Okay.
Okay. These birds are the purest that exist anywhere. There is not another family that's got this level of purity in it. I don't know if you have a good breeding pigeon, you want to race it.
Of course.
No, you want to breed out of it.
Yeah.
Okay,
correct.
and that's where these guys have their value.
So aside from pure or inbred, I should call, inbred Jemal Janssen in your family of birds, you also have other strain that you cross them.
Yes.
There you go.
And I'm not real particular about the strain.
Of the other one?
What I am particular about the other one is the quality of the pigeon.
Okay.
Okay, because you can put a name on any pigeon.
Correct.
Okay, and he may come from, there may be a superstar in his background. You look at most pigeons that are sold with these really nice pedigrees, and a lot of times they're a child of the son of a grandson of a good pigeon. Correct. Or the uncle was, and then it'll tell you all about the uncle. You're not breeding out of, you don't have something directly down. Very seldom do you ever have anything directly from the champions. Furthermore, the birds from the champions don't necessarily guarantee you results. Correct. Okay, because if it was that simple, the guys with the money would simply go out, buy the children of the champions, or buy the champions, produce the champions, and none of the rest of us that have any chance.
So many people will be seeing this video. If they are interested to acquire a Jemal Janssen, the inbred, so you are open of selling those birds, right?
Yeah, they can talk to me. They're not $100 pigeons. So, but if they are serious and want to have a conversation, be glad to talk to them.
And we will put the email address of Mr. Craig Nidever into the description of this video. And also, if they want something like, okay, I don't want the purebred or the inbred, can I get a half-breed, something like those? You're open for those kind of stuff?
Probably not so much, because the half-breeds that I breed, I race. Okay. Now, there is an opportunity, maybe, and very limited, at the end of the race team, or when I finish racing, if I've got what I consider to be an outstanding specimen that's a half-breed, that's a possibility. I've got some of those out on loan to some of the local guys. One guy in particular that I just didn't feel like he was getting a fair shake from some of the other pigeon people that were selling pigeons to him, and I didn't see the pigeons, but I don't think he was getting very good quality stock. So I called him up and I said, I got two brothers here that are both from an outstanding hen. They're half Jamals. The mother came from a very good race family, and both of these guys have raced well for me.
At least you're open for discussion.
If you'd like to come, he came and got them, and he's using them this year to breed youngsters out of. And I'll talk pigeons to just about anybody.
And you are also willing to give an advice, if ever, like, for the one that will acquire birds from you?
If I've got somebody that is interested in the pigeons, and I've had a couple of people, that say they would like to get some pigeons and continue the line. Sure. And they got some pigeons, and I'm a phone call away. Anytime they want to call and talk to me, and we can discuss them, and those guys in particular, but in most cases the door's open if somebody wants to come and visit. Be glad to show them to you. I'm really proud of them. They're a beautiful family. They look a lot like this guy. They're all blue bars with an occasional slate or smoky. But anyway.
And you will be showing us the inbred Jemal Janssen, right? You're going to be showing it to us.
Oh, do you want to see it?
Yes, sir.
Got some of them over there in the breeding cage. Those will be the easiest ones to get out and show you.
Okay. And we're going to have a quick loft tour behind us, which is one of the most beautiful, loft that I've seen, cleanest, and also the Jemal Janssen. And these birds flown here, and they went to the race, right?
Oh, they both. This guy's. Yes, they've both raced multiple years now.
Nice.
So
Greg gonna show us the Jemal Janssen.
Ooh.
There you go. So Craig, you're gonna show us where you breed the Jemal Janssen, right?
Let's go.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
These right here are all, well, they're not all cocks, but most of them are cocks. You'll be able to appreciate this. As a Jemal, he's oversized.
The year.
This is guaranteed maiden. This is 2020.
Okay.
His number's
5 years old.
Yep. 2003 is his number.
May I? Wow. I like the body of this.
He has been named Little Richard.
Really? Oh, so this is the Little Richard.
That's Little Richard, in honor of our friend Richard Aquino.
Look at the body of this. This is, by the way, our friend Richard Aquino is like, is a bodybuilder. So this one is like a wrestler.
And like I say, he's real interesting. It just shows there's still variety in the gene pool. Because, I mean, his mom and his dad weren't anything like the size that he is. And he's not what I'd consider really a large pigeon.
Yeah.
But by comparison, within the family, he's larger than normal.
That's true. And what I like with the Jemal Janssen, they are so curious. Look at this. So this is Little Richard. There you go. And pearl eye. And they don't want to be held. So that is one of the characteristics of the Jemal Janssen.
You got to catch his beak first.
You have to catch it first. They don't want to be held.
I have Jemal youngsters off of this one too, and they're not big pigeons.
Okay.
Okay. So
it just happened that because Richard
just showed up.
So that's the wing I like.
Now, if people like eye sign, she's got a violet eye.
I'm about to say that.
She's got a violet eye.
Look at these eyes, guys.
Eye is just.
This is the violet. I don't know what's the name of this bird, but I would name this Violet.
That's a violet eye, man. So it's one of the birds that I got from my partner James Boterford.
It's really nice. Look at this. So what is the strain of this one?
Race performance. Everything behind her is based on race performance.
Okay. Like what you mentioned, you are not particular with the bloodline of the one that you are going to pair to the Jimal.
What I'm interested in is the quality of the pigeon.
The quality.
And there's no problem with that.
Look at I like the last four of the flights, and also look at that. It's like a blade. It's really nice. Okay.
Yep. This little hen raced. She only knew one way to race, and that was at the front of the flock. She's a first Texas Center Hall of Fame winner. She is an outcross. She's a half-breed.
Has a Jimal blood.
Half Jimal.
Half Jimal.
And the other half is a bird I acquired from Ed Menville of Seagulls.
Yeah, our friend Ed Menville of Seagulls.
He had a couple birds at an auction. I looked at them and I liked them, so I tried them, and that's the result I got.
Look at this. Even though it's not a pure Jemal Janssen, it still doesn't want to be held.
Sure. You know, she's a quality animal. She first Texas Center Hall of Fame young birds. And then I raced her on the first race as a yearling in old birds. She won the combine, and I said, you know what? I need to stock you before I lose you.
Pure and yellow eye. It's really nice. I like it. You call it yellow eye, right? Or?
Well, no, that's a bull eye.
Bull eye, right?
And looks like a bull to me. Usually you get the bull eye when you end up with the white next to it. You'll either get a bull or a partial bull. What do we have over here?
The other one is...
What's the matter? You can't catch your beak? No, it's pearl.
This one is pearl.
Yeah, the other one's pearl.
The
too,
other side,
but it's bull. It's completely bull.
Yeah, really nice. See that? That's what I like with this bird.
She's a quarter bred.
Quarter bred.
She's not a half breed. She's a quarter bred.
And still have that quality.
She's a quarter bred, and her father's a half breed, and that's her father right there.
Oh, nice.
He flew out.
Let me show this to the camera.
That one right there, the pied, is that other little hen's father. He's a half breed. He flew in Lelton's Dash for Cash 1 Loft race.
Okay.
In 21.
Okay.
So his number's 2121.
Nice.
But I brought him home, and the first year he bred that that little hen.
So these are your young birds?
These are a couple of young birds. They're going out to fraternity. Okay. That's a Jemal cock in the back. It's an outcross hen there. That's the other hen I got from Ed Minville.
Okay.
These two here. Okay, we just looked at them. This is a Jemal cock. The hen in this case is a blue hen I got from a friend of mine up in Canada, Fred Goodchild. And
from Canada.
This is the pair that produced that blue bar cock down there I was talking about. That was one of the two on the drop for second and third at 300, and I only sent 2 pigeons. This is her nestmate sister, another Jemal cock, and a baby on the floor.
Do you have something that you pair Jimal to Jimal? Or you're not doing it this season?
Right now I'm breeding my race teams.
Okay.
Okay. As soon as I finish breeding, which will be one more round off of everything here, then I'll put my Jamals together and I'll breed my replacement stock.
To
maintain
the bloodline.
line. Yep. So I've got a number of who is this one? Okay. These two little youngsters here are Rogier's cross.
Okay.
The hen is
Jill
Rogier, and the cock is a Jemal. Over here we have a half-breed cock, and a little hen that I bred out of James Bodiford's family.
Okay.
That I'm crossing. This cock here has produced a first place association winner at 500. Second day, I believe about an hour ahead of second place in Houston, and also a first place combine 500-mile race winner. Nice. 2 different pigeons in Houston. Both those birds were raced by Sterling Leroy.
Nice.
But anyway, just birds that have worked.
That's true. So, and these are your breeding, and then you have more breeding loft there, right?
I have the big loft over there. On the one end is I have Jemal cocks again with outcross hens, and then I have outcrossed cocks with Jemal hens or with half breeds.
Okay.
So
these are your flyers loft.
Those are the 2 flying lofts.
Okay. And what are the things that you consider when you built this?
Oh, it's ventilation.
Ventilation.
More than anything else. Both of these lofts face south.
Okay.
So we catch the sun coming up here out of the east and setting in the west. So they get the full benefit of sun all day long. The construction of them, the landing board here serves as a landing board and also
a viewing.
Close it, and now we have an aviary.
Aviary, there you go.
And then we have outdoors, indoors, so the birds can practice going in and out. And that's for the babies, and after they learn it, it's a piece of cake. That's how we control them going out, in and out.
Can you show us inside, Craig? Flown, right? Like
these are only cockbirds.
Okay.
Okay. I'm flying the sexes separated. Okay, so this is the loft the cocks are flying.
Okay.
I have one pigeon in here that is not Jemal breeding, that was bred by somebody else, and we flew it, and it's still here, so it just keeps flying.
Nice.
This loft here is the hens.
And that's ventilation there.
Over the top.
Yeah, really
more
nice.
than anything else.
Ventilation. Okay.
But there's 11 hens in here, and there's 10 cocks on the other side.
And then the other one.
That's the race team.
This is the race team, right?
This is the race team.
Okay.
These are Jemal cocks in this one section right here. Okay, and then outcross hens. The little checker hen is a hen that I bred. Her mother was a concourse winner, 500-mile concourse winner in Dallas. And actually her father, it was Senor Katie, which a two-time association winner in Houston for me at 300 and 500 miles. The only bird I ever had over there in all the years I was flying that won 2 association races out front. And anyway, so
who designed it? This is a really nice, idea, the drinking.
I designed it.
Nice.
It's you stick a hose in the middle to fill it up if you want just regular water. If you want medicine water, I mix that up by the gallon and dump it in.
Nice.
To clean it out, all you do is just flip it over and it drains.
Nice.
Run fresh water through it to clean it out, and there we go. So,
Craig, you're going to be showing us some results and some pedigree here. And what's in your hand?
This pedigree right here is a copy of the original pedigree for the bird that was called Mexico 16. 16 was the first of the birds to come up from Maurice. He's a 1973 bird. He was bred by Marty Merritt of Palomar Loft. Marty Merritt was an American that was working in Mexico City for, I believe it was Woolworth Company. Pigeon flyer and a friend of Maurice's. 16 was bred from 2 birds from Maurice, as you can see right there. Okay. And up in the top corner on this, it says the A, B, and C pairs. Those are the 6 original birds that were imported by Maurice from Pete DeWeerd.
Nice.
Okay.
And talking about results.
Then in 1966, the race results here, Maurice flew in 2 different clubs in Mexico City. The Mexicano Club and the Azteca Club. Club Colombófilo Mexicano and Asociación Colombófila Azteca. As you can see right here, listed in 3rd place. And then up there in the 1st place position. Okay, this is it's called the combination, the middle distance championship. All right, it shows on this sheet right here. It shows 49 competitors in the combine, and I believe that's 3 different clubs. Maurice finished out 1st and 3rd on those results. Here's one right here for the absolute combined results for the season. Maurice was 1st and 3rd again. And this was out of a total of 71 competitors.
Wow, that's a lot.
And he's flying 2 lofts, and he's 1st and 3rd. Here we have a race result from Felipe Pescador, which was a distance of 616 kilometers, roughly 370 miles, I'm going to guess. Maurice was 1st and 2nd, the 2 different lofts. And then here we have the race results for the Old Bird Series, okay, which has some of these included on it. The only thing is, all it's listing is the top 5 competitors at each position. So here's Pescador that we just talked about, was 1st and 2nd. Here's the combined absolute championship, which should be equivalent to a combined average speed, unless it's anyway. So they're showing 1st and 3rd. The speed, velocidad, the shorter distance, what would that be, short average speed? Maurice was 2nd and 4th. This one here, Campeonato Combinado de Medio Fondo, middle distance, first and third. And in the long distance championship, Maurice was first and fourth. Nice. And like I say, there's not just 5 competitors in each one of these. This is just the 5 that are listed, the top 5 competitors in each section. Yeah, as I showed back over here on the one, how there was a total of 71 in competition. Right here, is that one it? Yep. So your final overall championship on this one, with Maurice first and third, a total of 71 competitors listed.
Nice.
And I venture to say that probably, well, pretty safe to say none of these people on this list are with us anymore. They've already got their lofts built in heaven, and I'm sure flying up there. So looking to see if there's any of them that I would recognize.
And some of our viewers might recognize some flyers in here.
These guys are all going to be in their 80s and 90s or gone, who knows. But there's results.
Well, Craig, so thank you so much for letting us visit your loft and do an interview and sharing these wonderful stories. And so what is your advice to some people that, new flyers that would like to get involved into this type of hobby?
Be careful and be aware. Visit with people. Form your opinions. Ask around about them. See what they're known for. Make sure you're dealing with a quality individual. There's just a lot of pigeons out there, and there's a lot of people that sell them. And ask to see some results. Ask how they're doing. See what they think about them. See what's available. I don't know. Mainly, most importantly, once you get the pigeons, you have to keep them healthy.
Correct.
They've got to be at 100% health to be able to compete. Okay, and depending what area you're in, if you're in a high heat, high humid area, you are going to fight coccidiosis and canker and worms and respiratory, and like, what have I left out? Those 3 things are, any of them will affect your results in a negative way. So you can have the best quality animal in the race, but if he's not completely healthy, he's going to get beat by birds, competitors that are not the quality of animal that he is. I don't specify or specifically make a distinction between a distance and a speed pigeon, because I don't want a pigeon that can just fly fast on a 100 or 200. I want a pigeon that's going to be there at the end. The one that Pete DeWeerd referred to as a pedestrian, meaning one that just kept coming. Well, they've got to have the muscle structure, the bone structure, the will to come home to be able to do that. So you've got to have, first and foremost, every time you've got to have health. After that, you have to have motivation. They have to have a reason to want to get to your place, to get to their home sooner. Okay? Just that little bit of motivation. The other thing too is, once they get to your loft, they need to come in. If the pigeon is 20 minutes out front and it takes him 30 minutes to trap and you lose it by 10 minutes, it doesn't make any difference. You're still lost. Once the pigeon gets home, then it's up to management. That's your part. He did everything he could, or she did everything she could to get home. You got to do your part, so when they get home, they understand that they're supposed to get into the loft. So take care, good luck. It's a fun and interesting hobby. It's one you'll never get all the answers to in your life. You might get a few, but the thing is, as soon as you figure something out, it changes next season. Mm-hmm. It's crazy the way it works. You know, we at the end of each season, I think, you know, man, if I'd just known that earlier, you know, things would have worked better. But it's that way every year. So you have to continually learn, continually question, continually search. I tell the story of anybody and everybody can teach you something. Some people, if you watch them, you'll learn what not to do. Okay, so search out search out the winners, search out the honest people, and deal with them, talk to them, ask questions, learn, take notes. You know, there's a problem. I'm deviating a little bit, but there's a problem with selecting pigeons, and that is this. I feel very confident in my ability to select the best pigeons, but if I go to someone's loft and pick out their best pigeons, and then they have one that performs that wasn't selected, then all of a sudden that's the one that, well, he missed this one, so he's no good. So that's fine. I mean, I'm not set up as a pigeon selector. I select and I breed my own. I'm confident and I'm comfortable in what I select for and the individuals that I have. And the test is in the pudding. Look at what's being bred. Okay? And when the standard is high and the standard stays high, and you get one pigeon in your hand and it's beautiful, and then all of a sudden you get the next one and it is too, and 2 and 3 generations later, I heard a statement, okay, that was made, and it's very appropriate. Don't tell me what you know about pigeons. Just put one in my hand and I'll know what you know about pigeons. Okay, because if you're putting something in my hand that you say is a great individual and it's not, that kind of answers the question. But anyway, not throwing stones at anybody. Don't have any bones to pick. I have my Jamals. I love my family of birds. I'm very happy with the results that I get out of them. The day that I stop raising pigeons, then I will just continue the program, just maintaining the family, like Maurice did when he got out of the sport, and proud to be able to take that mantle and continue it.
Thank you so much, Craig, for sharing us this wonderful moment and the knowledge that we got.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Enjoyed it.
Bye.